County is the sound. Oh, Ohio's place. Fun all around. Yeah, yeah. Warren County, feel the beat. Every corner fun to meet. Oh, from the rivers to the trains. Dance all night, feel no pain. Yeah, yeah. City lights, small town nights. Yeah, all together feel so right. Get too small, let's unite. Warren County, pure delight.
Hi, today we have with us Aditi, who is a junior at Mason High School, correct? And last year you did something rather exciting. You went to Germany to be a foreign exchange student. How did you happen to decide to do this? I mean, where did this idea come from?
Well, we actually got to know about the program through our school. Mason actually sent out an email, and they sent out pretty frequent emails about other opportunities that students may want to join and be a part of. And one of these emails just included something small about the CBYX program, the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Program, which is the program that I joined. And my parents found out about it and were like, hey, do you want to maybe try this out, try out the application, see how it goes, and just see if you can make it. We'll see how it goes. You don't have to, not too much pressure or anything, but just try it.
So you actually, well, let's introduce your parents. Your parents are.
So this is my dad, Vishy, and my mom, Rupa. Hello.
Hi. I'm so glad you came over today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure meeting you and family as well.
Thank you so much. So she brought the paper home, and you are the tutor. Email.
How schools are, they send you so many emails like, hey, these activities for kids. So I pass it along. Are you interested? Nah. And then this came along, like, okay, I'll try. Diti, are you interested? And she's like, yeah. So, well, we'll see how it goes. So that was where we started getting to know what a student exchange program was, because we were fairly new to this whole process.
Mhm.
And then she reached out to her school, wanted more information. And from there on, it was all Aditi.
Yeah.
She found out, she did the research, she reached out, applied, interviewed for it. So
Yeah. It's a pretty rigorous program in my mind, right? Because it has a evaluation process, because around about 250 kids in the US get selected.
Oh, really?
It's a scholarship program, right? It's completely paid off, and we really appreciate the program. CIE, they've done a fantastic job on this. So that's how it goes about. So you primarily apply through writing essays, then go through interviews, then a selection process. So we had been to DC like twice, right? First time was she was a semi-finalist, so she went through a formal interview process with other kids, and then eventually got selected to be the finalist, and that's when we went and dropped her off in August. So it's a long drawn process and a good evaluation process to figure out if the child is really ready for it or not. And and she came out successful. And we were so proud of her purely because of the fact that she was one of the few freshman kids doing her sophomore in Germany, because the rest of the other kids were either juniors or seniors, but she was the only few in my mind, or two in my mind.
There's just two freshmen.
Yeah, just a few. I think it was maybe three or four.
Three or four out of the 250 kids.
Wow. From all over the country.
Yes.
And then now, are you the oldest child? No.
No, I'm the youngest.
Youngest. You set your baby up.
I know. She was all of 15, and we were like, okay, off you go.
So she celebrated her 16th birthday there in Germany. It's a big deal here, right?
Right.
So, it's a great opportunity, and we being the first gen migrants to this country, we really wanted to leverage all the opportunities to our kids, and I think this was one great opportunity. We thought we have to give her an opportunity to even go about it, and she graduated, and we all supported it. But yes, the whole process of once you dropped her off, that was another roller coaster, right? Yeah, did we do did he do this right? Is it okay for a 15-year-old to step out of the house, go to a different country? Will she be okay? Yeah, but I think we are very fortunate. Thank God that we got a good host family for her to take care of. But I think a lot we owe to the host family who took care of her.
Do you get to know about your host family before you go over?
So for me, it was a bit different for every person. So each person, once you sign up and got accepted, there's about a 4 month period where you would get your host families, and the program would do all of that for us. So some people got theirs really early on, in maybe May or June. But I actually went to Germany already, and then 2 weeks into our language program, I got to know who I was staying with. So I was actually staying in Germany for 2 weeks, and then finally got to know where I'll be staying for the rest of the 10 months.
And we packed her off not knowing where she would be,
Yeah.
whom
Yeah.
she was going to be. 15 years, you're set for life.
Yeah.
Good.
I think the confidence and the trust was a big factor for us to even decide to send a 15-year-old off the country, right? And I think that the CIE organization did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
They were so good at it.
Very
Very well structured, well communicated, well informed, which finally built the trust that we could do this as such. And yeah, I mean, so we gave it a shot, and it all worked out.
And they pay for like the
It
air
was a
flight and
scholarship,
everything.
yes.
Wow, it's a
Everything.
scholarship.
Everything. Yeah, I
Wow.
don't even have to pay a penny. It's just that
Just
once
her
you go-
personal expenses is
Yeah,
something
that's
we
on
have to
us.
bear, but
That's
everything
fair.
was taken
Yeah.
care of, the CBIX and even the host family. So
Well, so when you landed in Germany, did you know what town you were going to be going to? Or
No, so the program actually gives us a 4 week long language program, and that was already set. The location for that was already set since the beginning. We got to stay in a small town called Bad Laspa, and we had our own it was pretty much like a boarding school. We had classes every day, and we all stayed together in one building, and all the classes and everything were all in this one building, and we had our meals there and everything. We would go to town maybe a few times, but other than that, we stayed in this little building of ours, which was cool. And during these 4 weeks is when a few people got to know their host families. So I didn't know where I'd be going after these 4 weeks until about 2 weeks into the program.
now, while you're there in those 4 weeks, are they trying to teach you the language? Did you pick it up quickly? Being young?
So we actually took a language test at the beginning to see which class. There were about 6 classes that we had, or 5, and everyone was split into these classes. And based on your level, they would teach you what you already knew before getting to Germany. They would teach you about the language and also the culture and just social mannerisms and everything we needed to know, like a little crash course about Germany, just for 4 weeks, so we would have some sort of familiarity when we got to our host families, and everything was just brand new and surprising. So that was nice.
Did you know any German before you?
Not at all.
whatever Duolingo could brush
Yeah.
it up with.
Yeah. Because there were some people who had taken German in school for 2 or 3 years already. There were some people who like me had never even looked at this subject at all, or the language. And there were some people that were kind of trying with Duolingo and all that. I tried for a summer. I didn't really get that far, I don't think, but getting to Germany and being surrounded by the language consistently was great. That really helped me pick it up.
They say once you start dreaming in that language, you know it. Did you start having dreams where you?
Did, yeah. But I think it was later on than I expected it to be. I think it was near winter break, I think, was when I finally started dreaming, or I remember that I was dreaming in German and stuff, so that was cool. Yeah.
No. So where did you end up in Germany? What town?
It's a really small town called Ennepetal. It's near Düsseldorf and Cologne, which are the 2 main cities nearby. It's about an hour away from them. It's in the Nordrhein-Westfalen state of Germany, which is northwest Germany.
And did you travel around to other countries? Since
Yeah, my host family was actually really great. I got to visit a lot of different countries with them as well. They took me to the Netherlands and Austria as well, and we got to travel throughout Germany as well. So not just other countries, but throughout the entire country itself, which is cool.
Belgium.
Oh yeah, Belgium as well. Sorry. Yeah.
So did she contact you at least once a week? Well, now with phones, you were probably able to.
Right.
WhatsApp, text to the
We were
technology.
Yeah.
texting, but the program had actually initiated pretty well in this. So the students too had a fair good idea of how much and when they could reach out to their parents. You're far away, you tend to get a little attached or detached. So they had their structure in place. So we could video call her once a week, which was awesome. and regular texting, like everything was good. And the best part was the hostess, the lady, she was very friendly. She used to keep me posted on, hey, this is what Aditi did today, and this is what we're planning to do for the weekend. So we had a very good rapport and interaction, and that I think took most of our grief off our shoulders. So we knew she was in safe hands, and we were so excited for her. And every time, like, hey, I'm going to Berlin, I'm going to Munich, I'm here, I'm here. That was really fun. Yeah.
What was your favorite thing about living over in Germany? I mean, something that maybe America doesn't have, but Germany has, and you're like, wow, I kind of wish we had this.
I think just the general like connectivity between just Germany as a country and the countries surrounding it was really great, as well as like public transport within the country. So I feel like anytime during my experience there, I could always like travel to a new place, and I thought that was really great because their public transportation system is really impressive. Although it's a bit of a stereotype that it's always not so great with punctuality, but it was a really great system, and that way I was able to learn a lot more about the country since I was able to like independently travel throughout different areas and that kind of thing. And Germany itself is very connected through the EU and everything with the surrounding countries. So traveling to other countries was also pretty easy and something that I thought was really cool.
Do they still have the Euro pass?
It's
It's like the pass you use just to jump on the.
I think if you have a like a German passport or like any sort of German identification, it's very easy. And all the like EU countries, it's super easy to go through. Like there's no border control at all between the EU countries. So.
It's almost like going from one state to another.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's many years ago. I traveled to Europe, and it was like that. And you just hop. And that's the one thing I really liked was the public transportation, that you were able to just walk down the street and hop on a train and go someplace.
It helps you learn a little bit about independence. She was traveling all by herself, figured things out for herself. So
Now, what did you miss the most when you were?
I think mainly family and friends. That was a big thing for me because I feel like I've always, whenever, so my family and I have moved a lot due to my dad's job, so from state to state or from country to country as well. And so that was, whenever I moved, I always had that connection of, oh, at least I have my family. But this time was my first time going independently, so that was a bit hard at first. But I think just the excitement of being in another country and having these new experiences was just so overwhelming that like sometimes I didn't even realize like, oh my God, I haven't seen my family in 4 months or something. So.
Mom, Dad,
like we said, technology. So we video called her pretty much every week. So we got to see her constantly. So that kind of was a solace too.
that really helps. Yeah. Do you want to go back to Germany, or would you like to pick up a travel other places?
Well, I love traveling, so I'd love to go wherever I can in the world. But I think Germany is a really great place, and if it like comes to that, I would love to do my master's there after like my bachelor's. Doing that here in the States, I'd love to go back and study in Germany because I really like their educational system as well.
So, do you know what you want to study once you get out of high school?
Yeah, I think I want to do biochemical engineering or something similar to that. I haven't completely decided, but yeah.
I like that. Wow. So, what would you say to another student if they're thinking about doing this? You know, should they give it a try or?
I think so. I think it's a really great opportunity, and I think a lot of people benefit from this program. There are some people that may not be a great fit for it, but that's completely okay. I mean, some people, they really just flourish where they are, and that's a really great thing. But I think pretty much anyone can benefit from traveling outside of their comfort zone and learning new things and being able to experience life on their own, even at such a young age. So.
And now you're just going back, starting the school year this year. Is it kind of weird to like, because you were gone for a whole year. So, I mean, I
think it's a little weird just getting used to getting back into the school system here and everything, and just getting used to all my classes and courses and everything. Because I think in Germany, it was hard for different reasons. Like, I think the classes were pretty easy, and like, because I think their grades are a little different than ours. But just because it was another language, it was like a different type of hard. So coming back here and just all the homework and course load, just getting back into that rhythm is a bit interesting, but yeah, I still like it though. It's really cool.
What was it like a class experience, a day going to school in Germany compared to like going to class here in Mason?
Well, Mason is a much bigger city than where I was, so the class sizes were pretty small as well, and in contrast to how Mason does it, where every class you're in a class of different people, like you get to choose your own classes and everything. Germany didn't really have that. Every grade had set classes, and you had a choice between maybe Latin or French for your language and things like that. And so because of that, you would stay with the same people for every class, and you would stay in the same room, and the teachers were the only ones who would switch classes. So I think that was a major difference for me because I'm so used to in Mason, like the hustle and bustle of school. It's like crowded hallways and like getting through from class to class all over the building. But here you just kind of stay in your spot, and yeah, that's about it. It's nice.
Still like 7 periods a day or 6
Yeah,
periods?
just about. It was. I think it was 8 there.
8.
So, yeah.
And did you find, were sports a big part of the school system, or were sports more of a city type program? I mean,
I think it depended on the school. For our school, we had like gym was a mandatory course for our grade, but there were certain clubs and things you could get into, but it was much more exclusive. Like not everyone could try out for the volleyball team, for example, and they had only I think a few school sports. Everything else was in the town or like other companies or like groups would be hosting these and wouldn't be connected to the school.
And all the subjects were in German, so
Yeah.
do many of the people speak English there that you were able to communicate?
Yeah, so surprisingly, so when I was talking to my host sister and everything before I got to their house, she told me that like, oh yeah, we don't really know that much English, so I'm really sorry if we like can't really communicate. But if you need any help, I'm sure we could like try our best. And then I got there and I realized they all know English, like most of them. And even if they think, oh, it's not that great and everything, it's so much better than what you would expect. Like because they've been taking English as a course since the 3rd grade maybe, and so when you get there in the 10th grade, they're all like I wouldn't say fluent, of course, but they're very good in English, and so it was really easy for me if I was having a tough time to ask like my neighbor in class and be like, "Hey, do you know what this means in English?" or things like that. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Anything else you want to add about your experience or?
Yeah, I think just in general, I've been able to grow a lot from this program, and I've benefited so much from it, and I'm so thankful for the program and my host family and everything that I was able to do this really fantastic year. Yeah.
Okay.
and I think a lot of um, appreciation and thankfulness to the host family. I think the host dad, the host mom, and the sisters were just phenomenal. They took real good care of her, and just to ensure that she doesn't get homesick, and periodically looking into her wants and likes, and ensure that they could live up to that as such. So we are really thankful to the program, to the host family, and of course to, to the US for giving her an opportunity to do this. Right? I mean,
Right. It's
so,
exciting.
She also got to see a little bit of DC. She went
Yeah.
to the capital. She got to
Yeah.
meet the representatives of Ohio.
We got to so we actually each person or each state group got to visit the representatives for the senators and governors and everything for their individual state in DC. So we had to make our own appointments and be like, hey, we're from the CBOX program, and we'd love to like have some sort of meeting to talk about and like advertise our program a bit. So it was really cool to be able to not only learn about just our countries in general, but specifically the government and the Congress.
Mhm.
So the program itself is called the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange, which means it's a jointly funded and I guess hosted program from the U.S. Congress and the German version of the Congress, which is the Bundestag. So while we were in Germany, we also, as a group, we got to visit the German Bundestag building, and we got to look into meetings and everything. So learning about not just the countries but the governments themselves was also pretty cool.
So did you get to visit the American Embassy in Germany then too?
Just not the embassy, but the Congress building and House of Representatives and things like that. So
That's
yeah.
neat.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching. And can people email you or contact you if
Yeah,
they
of
want
course.
to? We'll put your email in at the end
Yeah,
if they're interested in going, especially a high school student. It's like,
yeah.
you know what?
Yeah,
What
we
do I do?
definitely encourage kids to, if given
Yeah.
a chance, they should just grab it.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the difference from what she
Yes.
was to what she is as an individual, and how independent she is in making decisions as well, and the way her thought process has changed completely, right? And I think it helps her not only socially but also helps her to make the decisions the way she wants it, and I think there's a lot of rationale behind that decision as well. So she's done that part of it. So it's less of So you it probably indicates that you will find a different individual coming in back, right? So with all the great experience what they have, they become more independent fairly quickly.
Yeah, you'd have to because you're over there by yourself.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.